Hey everyone, welcome to this week's lecture. I have students in my classroom, which is why I'm all masked up, okay, blacked out, all right. But I also watch some of my past videos and actually like recording with my mask on because then you see less of my chin. It makes it look like I have a much chiseled facial structure, which is pretty nice, okay. My fat neck isn't as exposed, so it's like a gobble diaper right here. Good times. All right, so look, we're going to go over today about essay three, your final and last essay that you've been preparing for all semester, as you should have been, because you're supposed to have been reading um, a novel that has only been published in the last 5 years. All semester, you've had all semester to read this novel. Okay, so you should be finished by now, and if you're not, you'll have spring break to get it done. All right. The work that I've laid out for you for this week is you should be able to accomplish if you've read your novel, and you should be able to accomplish it before spring break begins. There technically is no homework over spring break. The school has said no assignments. I can't even email y'all a message. I can't do anything over spring break. It's totally roped off, not allowed to communicate. Now, you can choose to do work over spring break. You can choose to reach out to me. All right. But I am not allowed to require anything. Okay. So if you have not finished your novel, reading it, you need to finish it over spring break, and you need to do, and then you need to make sure that you get this first assignment completed. All right. So you should have already read the essay three assignment. I went over this actually at the very beginning of this semester because I talked about the books that you can read and you can't read, and how I said you cannot read any of the typical books taught in high school. It couldn't be the book could not have been published before 2015. It also can't be a reprint. Like it has to be as in like the original year could not have been published before 2015. It had to be a story, a narrative. It could have been it can be fiction or nonfiction as long as it tells a story. And then you were supposed to have taken a little questionnaire 3 weeks into the semester where you told me what book you were reading, and I gave you points for completing that. Okay. And so now we're at the end where we're planning out our essay. You're going to write 4 full pages where you analyze the novel. You take into thought all the things we've discussed from unit one up to this point about analyzing character and analyzing theme and symbolism and style and all the unique things that go into literature. You're going to pick some things to talk about in reference to your paper. You are going to need to incorporate 3 secondary sources, as in 3 sources outside of just the book that you are writing about. Okay, and some of these can be a variety of sources. I'm going to show you some examples. All right, of things that you could use to talk about your paper. Talk about your novel in your paper. Um, so this is very similar to the other your previous essay about on poetry that you wrote, but just instead of a poem, now it's about a novel, which will give you more to write about, which is why the paper should be longer, about 4 pages. Okay. Step one to completing this paper will be writing an outline, which is what you'll do this week. And because it's a shortened week, because I'm not posting this until now, Tuesday, and you're not supposed to be doing any work over spring break, okay? I'm giving you 2 options for completing this assignment. All right, this assignment will be due on the Tuesday you come back from spring break, okay? And I'm giving you, and you have one option that is a shorter version of this assignment, okay? So that way, if you do not plan on doing any work over spring break, you should be able to complete this version of the outline in the next couple of days if you have finished reading your novel. But then if you are planning on just being home all spring break and you want to do little bit extra work that will help you in the long run, then you can complete a more in-depth version of this assignment to receive extra credit. All right. So I want to show you these. Let's see here. Okay. So essentially what's due when you come back from spring break, so if you do it in the next couple of days and you're done before Sunday, is a very basic outline. Like a very basic outline that looks like this. Okay. You will have proper MLA formatting, so you'll still have your name. You'll have your last name and page number at the very top right. You have your name, and then you'll have my name, the class. All right. The due date, this says 11/16. The due date is actually what is that? The 13th. Okay. So this would actually say, man, it's raining. I wonder if y'all can hear that on the video. Yeah. Close the door for me. Thanks. It's due on the 13th. All right, at the top of it, you will have your title of the book. So like I'm doing this hypothetical outline on this book, We Cast a Shadow. Okay, so I'll have We Cast a Shadow outline. If you read the new Stephen King book, or you read The Outsider by Stephen King, you would have The Outsider outline. And so for your basic outline, if you do just a basic outline that's worth full credit, 100 points out of 100 points, that you can do in just a couple of days, then I would want you to first tell me, what is your thesis? What are the things you are going to discuss in your paper? You need to discuss 3 things, okay? And you can talk all about theme, like 3 different themes discussed. You can talk about characters. You can talk about symbolism. All right, you can talk about literary devices, like you found that there's a lot of irony in your story. All right, I love talking about theme. I'm a big theme person. So for my book, I figured out that there were 3 themes being discussed in my book. Okay, so I wrote a thesis out, which is what I want you to do. Also, I want you to tell me what because your thesis is the backbone of your essay. That's what your whole essay is going to be about. So like I wrote, Maurice Carlos Ruffin addresses the issue of race in America by creating a dystopic novel that challenges the limits of conformity. And so I'm going to talk about 3 things: cultural assimilation, body dysmorphia, and the villainization of African heritage. To me, these are 3 themes that he discusses. Okay, all of these deal with race. And these are 3 specific things that he's talking about with race. All right, he has a theme about, he discusses cultural assimilation and the problems of it. He discusses that body dysmorphia is a bad perspective on one's body, and he talks about how America villainizes African heritage. So those are my 3 main points. These are going to be the 3 things I talk about in my body paragraphs throughout the essay. So then, once you do this, it's pretty much done, because then you just write body paragraph 1, and you just say, okay, this paragraph is going to be about cultural assimilation. Body paragraph 2, this one's going to be about body dysmorphia. Body paragraph 3, this one's going to be about the villainization of African heritage. I mean, it just flows like it would in your thesis. Then your conclusion, that there's a overall theme that he's discussing. And so I'm going to discuss how assimilation is a type of accepted and conditional racism. Your conclusion of your essay should be about the theme of your story, even if like your 3 body paragraphs are kind of about different parts of the theme. Okay, so actually, like I would my overall theme is really going to be about racism overall. Okay, the continuing effects of adverse, which is kind of like invisible, racism in America. Okay. All right. So body paragraph 1 might be about symbolism. Body paragraph 2 might be about character development. This character clearly is experiencing PTSD from his time spent in war. Okay. And body paragraph 3 could be about irony or a different character. You can talk about how the characters in the novel all suffer from different psychological illnesses. Okay. And even if that's never actually discussed in the book, but you have analyzed it and realized, oh, okay, the dad clearly has PTSD. The mom, she herself is clinically depressed. She seems very depressed. And then the brother is clearly a sociopath, even though it never calls him a sociopath. The fact that he is, let's say, he's using people. He seems to show no emotional sincerity. Or he doesn't seem to feel. He has no remorse. You interpret that he is a sociopath. So you can make all 3 of your body paragraphs can be about analyzing characters, whatever. But your conclusion, regardless, should be about theme. Okay. All right. So like if you posted this after spring break, that you have your book title, you have your thesis about your book, what the 3 things you're going to talk about in terms of your book, and then you have some sort of summary of what you think the theme is of your book, then you're good. That's like 100 points. Boom. Good. Awesome. We're ready to move on into the research and doing your outline. Okay. But if you want extra credit, if you are home during spring break and you got time and you want to go get a jump start, okay, then you can do the extra credit outline, which will look like this. Okay, this is worth 150 points out of 100. Okay, so this is where you still have your basic thesis and your points, but then what you do is that you do research and you find quotes. You go ahead and conduct research and you find quotes from other books that you want to use to support your claims. Okay, and you find quotes from the book that you're currently reading to support your claims. All right, so sorry, I just had to pause it because class was changing. Okay, so this extra credit outline will contain quotes from the book that you're currently reading, and it'll contain quotes from sources that you are going to use in to support your claims. Okay, and so this is the kind of outline though that you should be writing. Okay, that you should take time to go ahead and do your research, know where you're going to put your research in your paper, and have it listed all out in your outline, because this will make writing your paper so much easier. Okay. Now both of these I have posted. See, I posted final essay extra credit outline, and then I posted the basic final essay outline doc right here. And so
No.
Let's see.
Oh, no, I didn't get it.
All right.
Are you just going there? I could run this.
Sorry. So you can pull these up and look at these, okay? Now, I know a lot of you are going to be asking, does your research have to come from the academic library? And, no, it doesn't. Especially since a lot of these books that you're writing, that you're going to be reading about, are new and contemporary, okay? They can come from the academic library, but they can also come from published texts that are reliable, okay? So like, for example, for this essay that I was hypothetically writing, my outline, my hypothetical outline that I was creating, okay? I found I found an interview with the author, okay? And then I also found a review of the book by NPR. So look. This right here is a review of the book by NPR, National Public Radio. This is not just some dude who wrote a blog, okay? This is a good website, a reliable news source. So I use some quotes here. all right, from this review of the book because, like I said, this book was published in 2019, so there's probably not really anything on the academic journal websites, all right? Then also I found that's the NPR one. Oh, right here. I found an interview with the actual author. So this is an interview with the author of the book, okay? And I'm like, cool. This is great. Once again, New Limestone Review. Okay, they review all these different things, and they got an actual interview with the author. And so I found some of his own words, the author's own commentary on his book, to include in my essay. Okay. Now I know when I was reading this book, it reminded me of two other books that I had read before. All right. One of them was Malcolm X's autobiography. So I went to his biography and I found a passage that I thought totally related to what my analysis was. And I copy and pasted it and placed it here. Okay. And so I'm going to use that in my paper. And then it also reminded me of a book that I read recently by Ibram X. Kendi and Jason Reynolds called Stamped: Racism, Anti-Racism, and You. I have it right here. Okay, I'd read this. So I wanted to connect to this book that had been published, all right, and relate to it, okay? Now look, I have here four sources. This NPR art review. I have the interview with the author, and then I have the Malcolm X book, and I have the Stamped Racism book. Now, of these four, only two of them actually talk specifically about my book. All right, Stamped was published, does not ever mention, it never mentions We Cast a Shadow. And Malcolm X's book was published a really long time before We Cast a Shadow, okay? But that's all right, though. I'm taking what they wrote about and relating it to my book, to my essay, because it connects, all right? So all of your all of your research does not have to actually be talking about your book. It can just be, you can relate your book to this research, okay? All right, so that's the goal for this week. You are going to either do a basic outline, which is where you just tell me your thesis, you tell me the three things you're going to discuss, and you give me an idea of the theme, okay? And or you do a more in-depth outline, which will take your spring break to do this, but is not required. It's extra credit if you choose to do that. Or it's the same out this on this page. On this whole document, it's all this. I started with this, and then I just added quotes. I added research and quotes to it, okay? And that was it. Now this is what I would turn in for my extra credit if I want the extra credit assignment. All right? Okay, now just remember though, you're not summarizing your book. You're not writing about things that are obvious. You are analyzing the text and writing about things that are not necessarily explicitly said. Okay? All right. Well, let me know if you have any questions, and I will be sure to reply. All righty. Bye-bye.